evening, everyone, and welcome to the first Randolph Musical Awards.
We are your student reps.
Today's event was created to bring our Randolph community together during these hard times and share our love for musical theater.
The past month, you have all voted for your favorite shows between 10 different categories, and now the time has come to announce the winners.
Before we start the evening today, we wanted to thank all of you for your participation. Whether you voted or participated during one of the intermissions, tonight's event would not have been possible without you.
We also wanted to thank Randolph College for supporting and trusting us during this process and for all the efforts they have put in the last few months to enable us to keep growing as artists.
We are truly grateful to be a part of this Randolph community.
Speaking of community.
Hi, we're the student representatives of Randolph's BIPOC student group, representing the Black, Indigenous, and people of color students at our school.
As a group, we aim to provide a space for BIPOC student voices who have been silenced in the past to gain confidence, speak out against white privilege, and share and rejoice in BIPOC excellence.
In order to help out with the current Black Lives Matter movement, the Student Awards have provided a donation button in the description where you can donate to Across Boundaries.
Across Boundaries is a non-profit organization that provides mental health services and support to racialized people within the anti-Black racism, anti-racism, and anti-oppression framework.
Your donation would help contribute to their efforts in helping the BIPOC community through individual/group support and therapy, a community kitchen, social and recreational activities, and many more.
This organization was chosen because we want to ensure that we provide mental health support in these times of distress for the Black community who is hurting right now.
If you cannot donate now, do not stress.
Let's continue to do the work we need to do as allies and work towards signing petitions, attending protests and rallies, contacting our MPs, and of course, educating ourselves and continuing the conversation.
A link will be provided for you to read up more on Across Boundaries and the work they do.
Thanks for listening to what we have to say. Please donate if you can. We hope that everyone is safe and healthy during these times.
Now back to the awards!
Now without further ado, let the ceremony begin!
Hello everyone.
It is an honor for us to launch this first awards category.
A show is considered a long run when it has been performed for more than 1,000 performances on Broadway.
Now imagine, tonight, the best long run on Broadway rewards shows that have been running for more than 6,500 performances. And the nominees are
Les Miserables,
Wicked,
Cats,
The Lion King,
Chicago,
and The Phantom of the Opera.
And the Randolph Musical Award for the Best Long Run Musical goes to
Wicked!
Wicked is a 2003 Broadway musical by Stephen Schwartz and book by Winnie Holtzman. Running at the Gershwin Theatre in New York City, Wicked was awarded 3 Tony Awards in 2004, as well as 7 Drama Desk Awards the same year, including Outstanding Musical. Wicked celebrated its 16th anniversary on Broadway on October 30th, 2019, and with its 6,681st performance, it surpassed Les Miserables to become Broadway's 5th longest running show.
Hi everybody, before launching into the next category, we were curious to know which show you would revive.
I would absolutely revive First Date. I love that show with my whole heart, and it barely ran for a few months. I think it deserves so much more. Bring it back.
Peter Pan, the musical. The Kathy Rigby version, except cast me as Peter Pan.
Bandstand. It was on Broadway in 2017 with Laura Osnes and Corey Cott. So good.
Legally Blonde. I think it's such a marathon of a musical and such high energy, and I would love to see it done live on Broadway again.
Is Fiddler on the Roof? It holds a very, very special place in my heart. I think its message is beautiful and relevant, and I think it is geniusly written.
The Prom or Cinderella.
And it's kind of silly because hasn't really gone anywhere, but the Phantom of the Opera is something I would revive, but with the original staging and choreography.
I would definitely revive Newsies. I love the show so much. It's definitely one of my favorite musicals.
It's gotta be Sweeney Todd.
The musical that I would revive would definitely be
A few minutes later,
LeChuse's Wild Party.
Guys and Dolls.
a little longer than a few minutes later,
Ooh, actually, you know what show I would revive? Lord of the Rings, the musical.
The Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical has been awarded since 1994.
The award is given to the best musical which has already appeared on Broadway in a previous production or is regarded as being in the common theatrical repertoire.
Now, for the purpose of this event, we only chose Tony Award Revival winners from the past 6 years
in order to reduce the list to 6 shows.
Speaking of which, the nominees are Hello Dolly,
Hedwig and the Angry Inch,
Oklahoma,
Once on This Island,
The Color Purple,
The King and I.
And the winner is The Color Purple.
The Color Purple is a musical with a book by Marcia Norman and music and lyrics by Brenda Russell, Ali Willis, and Stephen Bray. In 2016, it won the Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical, as well as the Drama League Award for Outstanding Revival of a Musical.
Hi everybody! It is our great pleasure to introduce the third category of the first Randolph Musical Awards.
Now, as we know, a jukebox musical is a stage musical in which the majority of the songs are well-known popular music songs rather than the original music.
Now, I'm pretty sure we all had that thought one day that this album could be such an amazing jukebox musical.
For example, I personally think that the songs from Mariana's Trench could be turned into an amazing musical.
And what about you? Which band or singer's work would you turn into a jukebox musical?
If I could turn any artist's work into a jukebox musical, it would definitely have to be Rex Orange County or Tame Impala. I love both of their songs so much.
Easiest answer, the soundtrack to Phineas and Ferb deserves to be a musical.
Is Celine Dion's.
Is Celine Dion.
Sir Elton John.
I would choose One Direction.
With Joni Mitchell's music, I think that would be so sick.
Definitely the Carpenters.
Bon Jovi?
I've always liked Pink Floyd's The Wall album.
Aerosmith. Aerosmith deserves a musical. Yes, I have absolutely thought about it in length, and if anyone cares to know my ideas, you can DM me.
Such great suggestions.
Okay, now, without further ado, the nominees for Best Jukebox Musicals are
Mamma Mia,
Motown,
Beautiful, the Carole King musical,
Jersey Boys,
Rock of Ages,
Tina, the Tina Turner musical.
And the winner is
Mamma Mia!
Mamma Mia is a jukebox musical written by British playwright Catherine Johnson, based on the songs of ABBA. As of 2020, the show has productions in London's West End, where it is the 7th longest-running show in West End history, as well as various international productions. The Broadway incarnation closed in September 2015 after a 14-year run, making it the 9th longest-running show in Broadway history.
Where have all the good men gone? And where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds? I'd like to know. Isn't there a white knight upon a
amazing. Okay, I have a story. When I was doing School of Rock, I witnessed one of the most funniest stage mishaps ever in my career. What happened is it was the second show of our 5-show run, and my co-star, who was playing Rosalie Mullins, goes backstage and her mic was left on. When her mic was left on, the whole audience heard her look at one of the teachers that was a pregnant teacher in the play and said, "Damn girl, you pregnant as hell!" As I was on stage for Dewey Finn, everyone started laughing at my friend saying, "Damn girl, you pregnant as hell" to this girl. So funny. But I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has experienced a mishap like that on stage, so let's hear them.
The funniest onstage mishap that's happened to me was during the time I was in a production of Chicago. I was playing Lipschitz. The audience was pretty close to us, but during my monologue I have to flick my cigarette over my shoulder, and I'd had pretty good aim for most of the run, but this particular night I did not. I must have over-aimed or mis-aimed. I ended up hitting this elderly woman in the head with it. She was okay, and thank God it really had no weight to it. It's made of paper, but it was pretty hard for all of us to keep it together and to be serious after that. We were all shaking and laughing so much, so.
I mean, oh God, I've had so many. It was in West Side Story. It was right at the beginning of the scene for Cool, and I was Riff, and they stalled for me like 30 seconds. I was backstage. I missed my cue. Like, all that you could hear was like, "Hey Doc, where's Riff? Hey, where's Riff?" You know, and then finally I ran on. I was like, "Oh, sorry guys," you know, like, and like, you know, just being me.
There was a scene where a character had just died and the other character on stage had to pick up the body and walk off stage. So what happened was the character went to go pick up the body, and somehow the blanket covering the body ended up over their head. So they're walking to the door blindly, and it's just a door frame, and they accidentally hit it, and the door frame falls down over them. Everyone on stage is laughing, everyone in the audience is laughing. It was really funny.
As in The Crucible, I played Abigail. At the end of the first act, you know, Abigail goes center stage, dead center, and just like proclaims a list of names of people that she saw with the devil, right? Halfway through the act, I noticed that like my bloomers were really loose. So I'm like fidgeting on stage, but trying to keep it as subtle as possible because like the scene isn't about Abigail fixing her bloomers. So I'm sitting there fidgeting, and then I like kind of figure it out-ish, and I like come up with a plan in my head. And so I park and bark and I start saying it, but I'm kind of holding them and I'm not sure. And I come off stage and realize that my cast members backstage, my ASM, thought that my kidney had burst, or that like my appendix had burst or something. They thought that something in my gut had burst. So there was mass panic backstage.
One time I was on stage driving a horse-drawn carriage, and we had a real horse, and it charged the audience on opening night because it reacted poorly to applause.
And the nominees for Best Hilarious Musical are The Book of Mormon, Avenue Q, the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, The Producers, Something Rotten, and A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. And the Randolph Musical Award for Best Hilarious Musical goes to The Book of Mormon!
The Book of Mormon is a musical comedy with music, lyrics, and book by Trey Parker, Robert Lopez, and Matt Stone, also known to have created animated comedy South Park and the music for the musical Avenue Q. The show opened on Broadway in March 2011 after nearly 7 years of development and was awarded 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and a Grammy Award for Best Musical Theater Album.
Before we move on to the next category,
Tell us, what's your favorite movie musical?
My favorite movie musical is Moulin Rouge.
The Greatest Showman is so good.
Is The Greatest Showman.
Are Mamma Mia and Sound of Music.
Definitely The Sound of Music.
I almost want to say Shrek 2 for the meme, but I know I can do better than that.
My favorite movie musical is Singing in the Rain.
Golden Age would be Singing in the Rain.
West Side Story, obviously.
But contemporary, I know a lot of people have issues with it, but I love Les Mis so much.
No, I mean Burlesque is so good.
This is a little bit controversial, but my favorite movie musical is La La Land. I know, come at me, but it's my favorite movie and therefore my favorite movie musical.
One that just makes me feel good is probably Trolls.
Grease or Rock of Ages.
With the last 5 years with Jeremy Jordan and Anna Kendrick, the close second. I've watched it once, and it's one of my favorites. I will watch it again, eventually.
I would have to say Meet Me in St. Louis, because I love Judy Garland.
Enchanted. I want to be Giselle so bad. Also, James Marsden, like.
Without question, Moulin Rouge.
Honestly, The Greatest Showman.
It's true, they are all good. My personal favorite is Mamma Mia, as I'm sure many of you know. Now, this next category rewards musicals that were based on a movie and that were played on Broadway during the past season.
The nominees for this category are Waitress,
Beetlejuice,
Mean Girls,
Moulin Rouge,
Tootsie.
and the winner is Waitress.
Waitress is a musical with music and lyrics by Sarah Bareilles and a book by Jessie Nelson. The musical is based on the 2007 film of the same name, written by Adrian Shelley. It tells the story of Jenna Hunterson, a baker and waitress in an abusive relationship with her husband Earl. Waitress premieres in the Brooks Atkinson Theatre on Broadway in April 2016.
I grew up with Walt Disney's movies, and it's a wonderful thing to see your favorite Disney movie turned into a stage musical.
Tell us, according to you, which Disney movie would deserve a stage adaptation?
The Disney movie that I think would make a really cool stage adaptation is The Princess Diaries.
I think Princess and the Frog.
Hands down, Emperor's New Groove, without a doubt.
It's Lilo and Stitch.
Definitely Tangled.
Tangled.
So my top three would be Hercules, Tangled, and Sleeping Beauty.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hercules is my favorite.
The Emperor's New Groove. I just would really like to see how they would turn a person into a llama.
You know what? I'd love to see Princess and the Frog.
Did someone say Disney? Because you know that I'm totally down to answer this question. So, a Disney movie that I would love to see turned into a musical would actually be Mulan. I think that it would be such an awesome show. Well, first of all, the music is just stunning, and I feel like there's so much amazing opportunity to add so many beautiful songs for Mulan's family, especially her mother and her father and everyone in the Fa family, and Reflection would just make everyone sob, and I'll Make a Man Out of You would be the most epic ensemble number. I think it would be so cool. But the question is, do they include Mushu?
I totally agree, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, as you've probably suspected it, this next category regards the best Disney musical.
Walt Disney Theatrical Production Limited, also known as Disney on Broadway, was formed in 1993 with Beauty and the Beast, and its first show ever put on stage in 1994.
The nominees for Best Disney Musical are Beauty and the Beast,
Aladdin,
The Lion King,
The Little Mermaid,
Mary Poppins,
and Frozen. And the winner is...
The Lion King.
The Lion King is still running at the Minskoff Theatre in New York City after more than 9,000 performances. It is Broadway's third longest running show in history. Over 100 million people worldwide have seen the musical, and it has earned numerous awards and honors, including 6 Tony Awards, one for the Best Musical and Best Direction of a Musical, making director Julie Taymor the first woman to earn such an honor.
Together, 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 everyone.
This next category rewards the best off-Broadway show that transferred to Broadway.
What distinguishes Broadway versus off-Broadway and off-Broadway theaters is simply the number of seats in the theater.
Theaters with a house larger than 499 seats are considered Broadway theaters,
and theaters with houses between 99 and 499 seats are off-Broadway.
So, the nominees of this category are The Band's Visit,
Be More Chill,
Dear Evan Hansen,
Hadestown,
Hamilton,
Edwig and the Angry Inch, and the Randolph Musical Award for Best Off-Broadway Show that transferred on Broadway is...
Hamilton.
Hamilton is a musical with music, lyrics, and book by Lin-Manuel Miranda that tells the story of American founding father Alexander Hamilton. Inspired by the 2004 biography Alexander Hamilton by historian Ron Chernow, the show's music draws heavily from hip-hop as well as R&B, pop, soul, and traditional style show tunes. The show also casts non-white actors as the founding fathers and other historical figures. At the 2016 Tony Awards, Hamilton received a record-setting 16 nominations, eventually winning 11 awards, including Best Musical. It also received the 2016 Pulitzer Prize for Drama.
Now has come the time to reward the best show performed in the city we're all studying in, Toronto.
That's right, this next category rewards the best Mirvish musical from the 2019-2020 season.
Mirvish Productions is a Canadian theatre management and production company based in Toronto, founded by David Mirvish in 1987.
It's the premier name in Toronto theatre, bringing musicals, dramas, comedies, and more to the theatre stage for over 50 years.
And the nominees for this category are
Anastasia,
Cats,
Girl from the North Country,
Jersey Boys,
Piaf Dietrich,
The Band's Visit,
The Phantom of the Opera,
Come From Away.
And the Randolph Musical Award for Best Mirvish Musical from the 2019-2020 season goes to
Come From Away.
Come From Away is a Canadian musical with book, music, and lyrics by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. Workshopped in 2012 and first produced at Sheridan College in Oakville, Ontario, it opened at the Royal Alexandra Theatre in Toronto in 2016 and on Broadway at the Gerald Schoenfeld Theatre on March 12, 2017, becoming in 2018 the longest-running Canadian musical in Broadway history. At the 71st Tony Awards in 2017, the musical was nominated for 7 awards including Best Musical, Best Original Score, Best Book of a Musical, and Best Featured Actress in a Musical for Jen Colella, winning for Best Direction of a Musical for Christopher Ashley.
The next category rewards the Best Potential Tony winner.
As you all know, this year the 2020 Tony Awards have been postponed. But it is no reason why we shouldn't celebrate all those new Broadway shows.
Since 1947, the Tony Awards recognizes excellence in live Broadway theaters.
The awards are presented by the American Theatre Wing and the Broadway League.
This year would have been the 74th Tony Awards ceremony, hosted at Radio City Music Hall in New York City.
And the nominees for the Best Potential Tony Awards winner are...
6.
Moulin Rouge,
The Girl from North Country,
Sing Street,
Mrs. Doubtfire,
Diana,
Jagged Little Pill,
Tina, the Tina Turner Musical.
And the Randolph Musical Award for the Best Potential Tony Award winner goes to...
6!
6 is a British musical with book, music, and lyrics by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. The musical is a modern retelling of the lives of the 6 wives of Henry VIII, presented as a pop concert as the wives take turns singing and telling their story to see who suffered the most due to Henry and should, therefore, become the group's lead singer. First presented by Cambridge University students at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2017, it has since gone on to professional productions in the West End and internationally, and premiered on Broadway in March 2020.
We reached the end of our first Randolph Musical Awards ceremony. But before we announce the last category, we wanted to acknowledge our Randolphian community.
This award show is not only to have fun altogether, but also to remind ourselves that we are not alone and that as a community, we've got each other's back.
And I think we can speak on everyone's behalf, saying that we would all have preferred doing our shows to come on stage rather than online.
And many of us got all our hard work ready to be performed canceled because of the current events.
Including the method term, whose voices and tap dancing we heard all throughout the term.
This is why it was important for us to enable them to perform one of the many songs that they had prepared, but none of us got the chance to watch.
Dear Randolphians,
let's all cheer all together.
There's a term 3 people performing the next song.
A new world calls across the ocean. A new world calls across the sky. A new world whispers in the shadows. Time to fly. Time to fly.
It's but one moment, the moment before it all becomes clear, and in that one moment, you start to believe there's nothing to fear. It's about 1 second, and just when you're on the verge of success, the sky starts to change, and the wind starts to blow. I need a stranger. There's no explaining where you stand. You didn't know that you sometimes have to go round an unexpected bend. The road will end. A new world
calls for me to follow. A new world waits for my reply. A new world holds me to a promise. Standing by. It's about one moment. That moment you think you know where to stand, and in that one moment, the things that you're sure of slip from your hands, and you've got 1 second to try to be sure, to try to stand tall, but nothing's the same, and the wind starts to blow. And you're suddenly a stranger in some completely different land. And you thought you knew
A life without a musical is like a life without musical. I don't know, it's not a life? A life without musicals is not a life?
It's like an unfinished coloring book.
Is like life without coffee. Like, you'll get through it, you'll survive, but you just won't have a good time.
What's the point? That's my answer. A life without musicals, what's the point?
It's like the seasons with no summer.
Boring.
Dull.
A nightmare.
Is like a life with no air.
Life without cheese.
A life without passion.
A life without water for me. I love it. It feeds my soul.
A life without musicals would be like never being able to eat dessert again.
Yeah, it's just not a life. A life without musicals is not a life.
I agree. Life without musicals would be awful.
It wouldn't be complete in my eyes.
Fellow Randolphians, let us introduce the last category of this show.
Category that you created because it's about your favorite musical.
Now, we got many answers, and we couldn't name every single show that got a vote. But here are the nominees that got the most votes from you.
Wicked.
Come From Away.
Into the Woods.
Hairspray.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Les Mis.
And the winner of your favorite musical category is... Wicked!
Miss Galinda.
There's such strange exhilaration in such soda detestation. It's so pure, so popular. I know about popular, and with an assist from me to be who you'll be instead of dreary who you were. Well, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular. Tell them hey, and defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I unmatch them in renown. And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down. I hope you're happy. Look at her, she's winning. Get her. Bring no one mourns, no thinking. So we've got to bring her down.
Dear Randolphians, family, friends that might be watching this show tonight, we've officially reached the end of the first Randolph Musical Awards ceremony.
We hope you all had fun and enjoyed this event as much as we enjoyed planning it. It was a pleasure organizing this and allowing our community to share in this moment together.
Thank you to all the students, alumni, and faculty members who participated in the voting and intermissions of this show.
Thank you to my fellow student reps who worked so hard to make sure this event could happen.
Thank you to the Randolph faculty for your support and help throughout this process, and for your continuous hard work.
Thank you to Randolph BIPOC students for helping this event support across boundaries.
Last but not least, thank you Jordan Chevalier for putting this show together with your amazing editing skills.
Thank you all for watching.
I close my eyes and I can see
a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before.
And it feels like home.
I
can say it all sounds crazy.
They can say I've lost my mind.
I don't care, so call me crazy.
We can live in a world that we design.
'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake.
I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see.
A million dreams is all it's gonna take.
Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled
with things from far away.
Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy.
They can say we lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake.
I think of what the world could be,
A vision of the one I see.
a million dreams is all it's gonna take.
A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big,
However small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me.
you may be right.
You may be wrong, but see that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me awake.